Hi, we are live. G'day, mates. My name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics. And I got a comic unboxing that I made a really good deal, and I just want to show people how, you don't have to wait 10 years to make money on comics. You could literally, if you know what you're doing and you're not afraid to make deals, you can make literally double your money, if not, between 25 and 50% of your cost that you've already paid for your comic the day you get it. So I want to try and teach people that are willing to learn and want to learn and willing to put in the effort how easy it is to make deals to where you don't have to buy a comic and then sit there and hold it for 5 years, 10 years in hopes that you make money. I want to show techniques that I do repeatedly, and you could watch numerous videos and see, because I always do what most people don't, and that's give prices. And the prices I include taxes and shipping, so I'm not trying to mislead people. But I'm trying to show people how you can make, if you put in the effort, if you put in the time, and if you're unafraid to make deals, you can make money right away. Now, obviously, if you're buying comics just to read them, then this doesn't apply to you. But even still, if you want to read an expensive book, first of all, it would be silly to spend thousands of dollars on a book to read that you can read from a reprint. So that makes no sense. Anybody that's saying, they're upset that the cost of Batman #1 is so expensive and it keeps them from reading it, there's numerous prints that you can get, reprints of that book. So there are many people that have speculation and they just don't want to admit it for some reason, which is fine, to each their own. But my channel is to teach you. So while I'm waiting for people to come in, and like I said, this came all the way from Australia. So when you're talking not only the tax that eBay charges, but the shipping cost, it's not cheap. But you'll see, I still, even with that, even with the economy supposedly doing bad, even with the comic market supposedly being down, I can show you how you can make money regardless of the economy, regardless of what other people tell you about the comic book market. Even if it's true, there's always people that will be rewarded for their efforts. So watch this video and others of mine so you can see it for yourself, and then you can, make your own conclusions from there. So while I'm waiting for people to come in, I want to make sure I always give a shout out to all of my fellow subscribers that are kind enough to join my Patreon. So if you want to join my Patreon, hold on one second. There we go. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/we love comics, and you can be able to join in and get your name up on this board. And I do that every single video. And then if I can get up to 20 people, we'll see if it happens. It's been stuck at 13 for months, but hey, I appreciate those that are kind enough to support, because not only are you supporting my channel, you're helping me take care of between an average of, honestly, between 18 and 25 stray cats. I pay for vet bills. I got them all fixed. I get the food and water. I take care of them. So your kindness helps. If you don't like me, that's fine. But if you like the fact that I help save and rescue animals, your contributions are always appreciated and very helpful. So you can go to patreon.com/we love comics. Normally I just shout out your name. Obviously, I won't put out your last name, but if you want me to do a shout out to your YouTube channels, your social network, your eBay store if you have one, or if you have your own business and you have a personal website you'd like me to shout out, just let me know. I have no problem doing that. So shout out to Sith Lord, Michael, Kevin, Dan, Herbert, Annabelle, Jason, Kim, Blessed, which was our last and not least, newest member of my Patreon. And the last ones, check out YouTube, Kendall Kid Comics with an X at the end. Check out on Instagram at ScottWU077. Check out on Facebook, Stephen L. Turk Author. And last but not least, check out on Instagram at Silver Age Surfer _comics. So that is for the contest. If I can get 20 paid members, the minimum to enter the contest is the minimum to join anybody's anybody's Patreon account, which is $2. So I'm not saying you have to put $20 in, $50 in to get into the contest. You could do the minimum of $2, but you'll get one entry for every $2 that you put in. So the more you contribute, the more chances you'll get once we get to 20 paid members. And if we get past 20, you could see there is a scale of better prizes that I'm looking to give away, and I will pay for the shipping and ship the prize all across the world. So keep that in mind. So we got Kim. Kim is here. Long time no see. I haven't seen you in the live chat in a while. Hope you're doing well. One of my moderators says hello. James Logan is here. And if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. Good, bad, or indifferent. I always appreciate people's opinions. Now, before I do the unboxing, I want you all to do your homework. And that is first, go open your eBay account. So whether you're watching this on your phone, your laptop, your home computer, whatever, I want you to get used to not guessing prices, not assuming prices, not wishing for a price that's beyond what it's worth or way lower than what it's worth. I want you to get used to going on eBay, going not on the selling, what's selling, because anybody can list the price for anything, but the sold. So this one is a CGC graded book. So we don't have to assume what the grade would be. We're going to know what the grade is. And I want you to look up that particular grade, the lowest one sold, so you have an idea. Check the range, and then I want you to tell me in the live chat if you're watching this live, or you could pause it in the comment section of this video, what would be the most you would pay for this, including shipping and handling and taxes? And I will say right off the bat, the shipping from Australia cost me about $51. So here is the box. Let's open it up. Um, this one was an interesting one, and I give credit to the seller because his communication was above and beyond 90% of the people on eBay. So great job. But for some reason, and I've had this track record lately, where the tracking number didn't register and they had no idea where the comic was. So it was in limbo. So you always have that fear, especially when you're ordering overseas. Is this person scamming? Now, before I bought it, and this is one of the things of advice I always give, if you see a seller and they have a 0 rating and a book seems too good to be true, it usually is. So be very careful. But this person had hundreds of ratings, so I didn't have to worry about it. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean somebody couldn't, hijacked his channel, or all of a sudden they decided, well, I need to do this one time. Who knows? But the communication was amazing, and I really appreciate that. And as a seller, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the communication is not supposed to be just until you get the money. It's supposed to be the after sale as well. That's how you get repeat business, going above and beyond. All right, so even though this is a big box, they didn't add any extra cushion or anything. So, but they did wrap it in bubble wrap. It is what it is. Now, this does have a minor crack in the case. I knew that when I bought it, and it doesn't matter to me because I am going to crack this open anyway because of the chance that it could get a grade bump. Because a lot of times when people get CGC books, either they can't afford it or they might not know that you can get pressings and dry cleanings. And with the prices that eBay charges, especially when you're talking, Silver Age and Golden Age and even Bronze Age key books that are higher in value, you're talking already without pressing and dry cleanings, it can cost you like $100 or more to get it graded. So some people may just not have the money to do it. So I knew that it had a small little crack at the bottom, not anything to be concerned about where it was like slipped out or anything, because obviously I looked at the book, but I was aware of that when I purchased it. So again, I want you to make sure you're on eBay because before I reveal the price, I'm going to ask you what would be the most you would have paid for this and felt comfortable. Now, don't say, $100 on a book that is absolutely, way more expensive than 100. Because obviously, who wouldn't, like I've said before, under many examples, who wouldn't want to spend $10,000 on a Ferrari? Well, a Ferrari is worth a heck of a lot more than 10,000. So you could wish for that all day. You're not going to get it. That's like, going to a fancy restaurant and getting, a filet mignon and say, well, you know, Walmart sells generic steaks for $2 a pound. I want to pay that. well, they'll laugh you all the way to the jail if you don't pay for it. So I want people to realistically, and this is why I want to teach people, because I want people to not guess prices, because you could underestimate and miss out on a potential value of a book and pass it by, not knowing that you actually are getting a deal, or overpaying because you think it's worth more and you have to have it, that fear of missing out. So Brian is here as well. We got Ryozo is here. I don't know if I said James Logan, but hello just in case. Brian is working, watching from work as usual. Always appreciate you. Just hope you don't lose your job. You gotta become your own boss. Okay, so let me just give it a once over. It does not look like I'm gonna take it out of the bag. I'm gonna replace the bag because these CGC bags are very dull. So this doesn't look like it's been affected by Bendgate or Bananagate. The that little layer page they put inside is kind of out a little bit. I don't care about that. Like I said, I'm going to crack this open. I don't even see the crack. Interesting. Because I mean, I couldn't tell in when I bought it if there was a crack or anything. All right, so there's no Newton rings. So this one looks like it's in good shape. Oh, okay, here's the crack. So there's a little bit, it's actually along the edge here, going this way. So it's not even something, this crack just looks like they might have dropped it because it's not even going into the inner well. It's just the outside of the case is cracked right here. All right, so let's show the book. And I want you guys to tell me what would be the most you'd pay because this is a key book. For some reason, flash books have been finding me all over the place because, like I tell people, I don't search for books. This was a newly listed book with a best offer, and wait until you hear what I paid for it. But first, I want to see what you have paid for it. Again, I don't want you to assume the price because if you say for this book, because this is a CGC 7.0. Now, this is flash number 139. If you're not familiar with that, that is the first appearance of Professor Zoom, otherwise known as Reverse Flash. This came out in 1963. It has off-white pages. So this is a high-grade book. And again, I'm going to get this book because I'm going to crack it out anyway. Like I said, even with that crack, even though it doesn't affect the inner well, it looks like a dry cleaning could absolutely improve this book. Pressing as well, because there's actually a little bit of an indent, like right around here, which means at some point before somebody graded this, they probably had the book stacked or too compressed in a comic book box, so it left a little indent. So it could bring it to a 7.5. I don't know if it'd get to an 8.0, but I'd be happy with a 7.5. So this is absolutely going to get cracked open. Like I said, I was going to do it anyway because of the little crack. But I want you to look this up. I want you to look up Flash. It's 139 at a CGC 7.0. Remember, taxes on a book like this, you're talking about $100 or so. The shipping cost me $51. So add that as well. So again, I don't want you to guess because if you tell me that you'd pay $300 for this book, they would laugh at you. So I don't want people to guess, well, I'd pay 300. Well, who wouldn't? You can't even get a 2.5 to a 3.0 for 300. So I want people to get used to looking it up. So this way, when you see a deal, you don't overpay or you don't give an offer that they're never going to accept. Like if a book's worth 10,000 and you don't know it's worth 10,000 and you feel it's worth 1,000 and you offer them 800, they're just going to not accept it. They may even laugh at you. Okay? So I want people to get used to what you would pay for this book. So again, high grade, off-white pages, flash number 139, first appearance of Professor Zoom. Reverse Flash. That is one of the main Barry Allen villains. So he is well known. So right now, Kim said he would pay $915 for this book, which is realistic for this grade. Now, is that including shipping and handling and taxes? Because remember, like I said, shipping and handling, because this came from Australia. And this is not an Australian, because you could see the 12 cent. This is the American version. This isn't a UK version or anything like that. So, Gary Hahn says last sale 837, previous sale 561, 575. So, Flash 139 key issue, absolutely. All right, so here's what we're going to show. Now, this person, and I'll give the conversion rates. This was a just listed book, and I tell people all the time, look up not only ending soonest, but brand new listings, because you never know. This person had it listed. It was in Australian dollars, but I'll do a breakdown. He had it listed for 1,400 Australian dollars. That's not including shipping and handling, and it's not including what would have been approximately $51 US. So $1,400 in US would be approximately, because it does fluctuate, it would be approximately $885.92. So they had it at a buy it now. When you add the taxes and the shipping, it would have came out to, in US dollars, approximately $1,053.56. It will vary. So they had it, buy it now, for a grand total of $1,053, which is about what Kim said he would pay, but the best offer. So now here's the part I want to ask you. Knowing that they had it listed at 1,400 AU, which is approximately $885, knowing the taxes roughly between $60 and $80, knowing the shipping and handling would be $51, what would you have offered for this? Okay, I Like Donuts 57 chimed in and said I'd pay $850. Okay, so if you saw this auction right now and you saw it listed at 1,400 AU plus shipping and handling plus taxes, and they had a best offer, what offer would you have not just said, oh, I'd offer 90% off? Yeah, well, good luck with that. What would you have used as a best offer to try and buy this book? So I want you guys to tell me right now, knowing that they had it at 1,400 AU, which is about $885, approximately $51 in shipping, and plus whatever the tax is, which is roughly between $60 and $70. What would you have used as your best offer? Okay, so Kim would have offered 800. So that's US dollars total. So he would have offered 800 total in US, which you're talking about. You would have probably offered him it's 1,400 AU, so you're saying at 800 you would have probably offered, like, gave a bid of, well, an offer of 1,300. So that's what you're saying, because 1,300 AU would be roughly about that plus the shipping. So you would have said, I'll ask for about 100 AUs off, or maybe 150 AU off. So if anybody else wants to chime in, and again, the reason I do this is it's not bragging, it's to show people. I mean, there are so many YouTube channels out there, some I'm subscribed to, some I even like, and some that usually have good advice that keep telling people all the time that, oh, the economy's bad, and it's a bad time for comics because of the movies are doing bad, and you'll have to hold on to your books for 10 years. I want to show people that if you want to hook your horse to that wagon, good luck. If you want to hold on to books for 10 years, first of all, in that 10 years, how much has your dollar depreciated in that time period? In other words, if you had $1,000 today, and that same $1,000 10 years ago, which time would you have been able to buy more with that money? So if you have to wait 10 years, you have 10 years of devaluation and deflate or inflation that is going to affect what you can purchase with that money. So most people do not know anything about business. They just see numbers. I'm trying to deprogram you. I want you to be Luke Skywalker, not the modern day one, but the Empire Strike Back version. And I want to be Yoda, telling you that you have to unlearn what you've learned. Because if somebody tells you you have to buy a comic and you have to sit on it for 10 years in hopes that you could make money, and they don't explain to you that in that 10-year time period, you're going to lose about probably 60% of your purchasing power off that money, you're actually going to end up losing money even if you sell it for a higher price than what you bought it for. In other words, if you bought a book for 1,000 and you had to wait 10 years to sell it for 1,500, that $1,500 could buy you probably about $800 worth of stuff at that time. So you're actually losing money. So anybody that doesn't know that and doesn't tell you that in their videos is basically doing you wrong, whether they're doing it maliciously or they're just ignorant. That's why most people's businesses do not succeed, because they don't know the difference between net and gross. They don't factor in things like inflation and devaluation of a currency over time. And as they say, time is money. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Tim said I offered 500. Well, at 500 you probably wouldn't get it, but here we go. I ended up, and I was the first person to do it, and they accepted it right away. No back and forth. I did an offer of 700 AU, which is half of what he was selling it, or she, what they were selling it for. So after shipping and handling, after the $50, after the $51 shipping and handling, and after the taxes, which was approximately about $65, I paid a grand total of, in US dollars, for a Flash 139 7.0, $547.21 total for a book that is worth about $800 now. And I guess it depends on how Superman is perceived, but at least it looks like the Superman movie from James Gunn's new versions doesn't look woke, doesn't look like DEI nonsense, but I'm sure they will throw some in, like when they did that 3-minute preview and they had that woman robot that needed to be pointed out for some reason, because, when you go to a Superman movie, you really care about, well, is the robot that's treating him male or female, right? So I'm sure there'll be a little bit. I'm hoping it's just a little. I really wish they would stop it all, but it looks like at least, they didn't cast Superman as a African American gay transgender democratic mute or something, if you understand what I mean. So I have hope for DC, and if they do it right, and like I said, Flash, they are looking to bring back not the comic relief version of Flash that they did with the Justice League era, but the serious superhero version Barry Allen was meant to be. So that's just going to increase all these Flash books, hopefully, even more. So again, I'm not afraid to ask for deals, because here's my thing. If he came back with a fair counteroffer, I would have thought about it at least, or even accepted it. If he would have came back with a too high of a reply, I would have tried back and forth again. I would have passed up on it. If I can't get a deal where I can turn around and sell it right now and make money on it, which I'm not going to do, because like I said, I'm going to crack this open and I'm going to try and press and dry clean it to get a 7.5, maybe an 8.0, and it'd be worth even more money. But I don't have to wait. Well, let's put it this way. You guys tell me, paying a grand total, like I said, $547.21, which includes shipping and handling, which was $51 of that cost, plus the taxes, which was roughly around $65. So you're talking about $115 to $120 in shipping and handling and taxes. So I paid around $390, and then you add all the other stuff. You don't think I could turn around if I wanted to right now and somebody would offer me? Because like people said, they would pay about $800 to $900. So I could make money right now without doing a darn thing. And I definitely don't have to hold on to it for a decade. This is what I want people to understand. I get deal after deal because I have a certain way I do business with this, because this is my career. I stopped DJing in when I lost my last DJ job in October of 2023. I have not been quote unquote employed since. I have been making a living by once or twice a year, which by the way, I'll be doing another auction soon, so check on my videos periodically. Um, I make my money to pay my bills and feed these stray cats that I take care of by doing one or two auctions a year because I can find deals on comics and turn around and easily sell them right away. If you want to wait 10 years and listen to all these other people that may be more popular or may have better structured videos, or you just like better for whatever reason, because, people on YouTube didn't lie about you and destroy your personality, your reputation, go ahead. I show example after example. So if you want to listen to people that just talk and don't show you the proof, go right ahead. I am letting my actions speak for my words. So how many of you out there, if you saw this listed right now for $700 total, including shipping and handling and taxes, how many of you would buy it in an instant if you saw this book for $700 and that included shipping and handling and taxes? I guarantee you a lot of you would do it. So I could literally right now make about $150 easily if I sold it right now. Do I have to wait 10 years? No. Do you want to wait 10 years? It doesn't make sense to me. And my videos, I'll be lucky if I get 5 comments on my video. I'll be lucky if I don't lose 10 subscribers after I make a video. If you want to get mad at me because I am putting in the effort, I took the time, I'm not afraid to make deals, I communicate. If I tell somebody if you accept my offer, I'll pay right away, I do it. If you're not willing to look up deals and see prices and know values and know a book just by its cover, if you're not ready and willing to do that, you're going to miss out on opportunities. Because by the time most people were looking at that book and trying to figure out if it's worth it, it was already sold to me. I want you to have that same benefit. And that's why, even though I do have, like you see here, my Patreon, and again, you could join at patreon.com/we love comics. I offer all of my advice for free. You don't go to my Patreon to get and pay for information. You go there because you want to help support my channel and help with the cats that I take care of. I have video after video teaching my secrets. If you don't want to listen because you don't like me, because you believe some lie somebody made about me 5, 6 years ago, that's fine. I'll continue to keep making these deals. I'll continue to share it with 3 or 4 people that are willing to say, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. It's up to you. I guarantee you, nobody will say that a book like this that has upgrade potential by getting it pressed and dry cleaned, that $547 for this book in total was a bad deal. Most people, when they see a best offer, they'll maybe ask for 5% off, 10% off. Now, don't get me wrong, asking for 50% off of somebody's asking price, 98 out of 100 times, they'll just either say no or they'll just come back with a counter offer. So it's very rare that that will happen. But when it does happen, you're pretty happy. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, every time you see something, offer 50%. Because, like I said, 98% of the time, you're not going to get it. But there's the times where you might. So why not take the chance? The worst somebody can do is say, no, thank you. If they're offended, they need to get over themselves. Because who doesn't want anything on sale? Obviously, everybody does. Even if you're buying comics just to read them. If a comic costs $10 and you can get that same book for $5, why wouldn't you? I mean, how many of you out there, if you had 2 books right next to each other, you didn't care about the grade, you didn't care about anything, you just want to buy it to read it. Both of them are complete. Let's just say they're both identical. One's selling for 10, one's selling for 5. Which one are you grabbing? If you grab the $10 one, then you just waste money. You just said, ah, I'm going to throw out $5. Well, congratulations if you have so much money that that means nothing to you. It's still a waste of money because that $5 could have bought you another comic. So you could have bought two comics for the price of one. So it's not about who has the, you know, Batman #1 or Amazing Fantasy 15. It's every comic you buy. Why don't you want to get the best price you can, regardless of the motivations of why you're purchasing it? Whether you're purchasing it for speculation and investment, whether you're purchasing it because it brings back nostalgia from when you were a kid, whether you're buying it because you love to read them, or whether you're buying it because you love the artwork on the cover and you want to hang it on the wall and display it proudly, hopefully out of the sunlight. It doesn't matter. And the gatekeepers in the comic book community that try and dictate to you what you should or should not do, I mean, not for nothing, people should finally grow a pair and say, you know what? It's none of your business what I do with my money and my time and my choice. So many people out there these days say, my body, my choice. What about my comic, my choice? You know, Stop letting other people bully you into not doing what you want to do because peer pressure seems to be that powerful. You really think I care what 90% of the quote unquote community that dislikes me has to say about me? I don't care. I'll continue to keep showing deals. I'll continue to keep teaching you how to make deals. But if you're not willing to put in the time, if you're not willing to put in the effort, if you're not willing to take chances, if you're not willing to lose the fear of missing out, if you don't know economics and you don't know how devaluation of dollar over time also will affect the cost of your sale and all of that time, if you're holding onto a book for 10 years, that's 10 years of whatever amount that you spent in limbo doing nothing for you, but losing value. I mean, hello, McFly. Stop listening to people who have the economic equivalent of a person that is in kindergarten that finger paints and they finger paint out of line. If you think holding on to a comic for 10 years is going to make you lots of money and you don't understand economics and how things work and how the value of your currency devaluates over time, so you're actually losing purchasing power the longer you wait, and all of that money gets stuck in limbo instead of using it over and over again. If you want to listen to that advice because you think the person making the video is cool, or they make very entertaining videos, or they use very much special effects, or you just like them, hey, God, keep losing your money. Keep listening to bad advice. Don't get mad at me when I'm trying to get you out of that and I'm trying to do things to better your life so you don't have to work at a 9 to 5 job saying, I hate what I do every day. You know, I don't make Bill Gates money, but I also don't have to worry about becoming homeless because I sell just enough to get all of my bills paid, make sure the cats, whether they're inside that I take care of, which are all strays, by the way, that I've taken in, or the outside cats that I take care of twice a day, every day, rain or shine, whether I'm sick, whether I hurt my back, whether I had, you know, bad day, I do it regardless. And I get to enjoy what I do, and I can do it at my own leisure, and I don't have to worry about somebody telling me when I can and cannot take a day off. I don't have to worry about days off. I don't have to worry about vacations. Come on, guys. If you work in a job you hate, and you work in some assembly line or some factory or something that kills you every day physically or even mentally, and you have to work 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, doing a repeated monkey see, monkey do activity that you hate, that brings you just enough to get by, that when you get home, all you want to do is just crawl into bed. That how you want to spend almost the majority of your life? I get to stay home. The best thing that ever happened to me is my DJ business and my massage business went under because of COVID. The COVID destroyed my massage business. The DJ business I kept going, but around 2023, things got so expensive and things were so bad, bars just couldn't handle the lack of people coming to the bars anymore. The best thing that happened to me is I lost all that. And I didn't go into a panic. I said, well, I have comics. Now I'm going to make it into a better, I have to find deals and I'll wait for deals. And even if it's a book I would love to have, If I see a book and I have to overspend or pay the exact fair amount for it, I'm passing it by because there will always be other opportunities. And if you cannot have that self-control of, okay, I would love to have this comic, but the price is not where I'm willing to be at. If you can't say I'll pass on it, then you shouldn't be investing in anything. And you're going to lose more times than you will win. Stop playing Russian roulette. So, again, this book is going to be cracked open. I'm going to be sending it this month with the 4 books I send each month, the PGX. You notice that back in January, for the first time, got Showcase 4. And then recently, the very few people that watch my videos, I just recently acquired this. Flash number 105, the first Flash Barry Allen series, solo series. So all of a sudden, Flash books are just finding me. I'm not searching for them. So to get this book from Australia for half of what they were asking for, with $51 in shipping, with about $65 in taxes, and only paid $547 total for a 7.0 first appearance of Dr. Zoom, Professor Zoom, Reverse Flash, is not a steal, but I can at least make 25% profit right now if I was to sell this book. Don't have to wait 10 years. Don't have to worry about the devaluation of my currency. If you cannot factor these things in, you should not be speculating. Put in the effort. I want people that want, if you want to be successful in life, you don't sit on your rear end and just sit there, please Allah, or please Jehovah's Witness, or please Cabbage Patch Kid that I worship. Please bring me everything I need. Don't work that way. Sit in your bedroom with an empty stomach and say, please bring me food. Please make me full. If you don't get off your lazy behind and get yourself some food, you're going to slowly starve to death, and it's not going to be a fun experience. So if you want to be one of those people that wants to spend your whole life being a victim and complaining how life is unfair and how the comic book community is this and how the comic book industry is failing and how the economy's doing bad, so I can't succeed and it's too hard. Wah, wah, wah. Well, you're getting what you want, not what you wish for, but what you truly feel. Or you could see, wait a minute, this guy that seems to have 75 to 80% of the comic community hate, keeps showing deal after deal, keeps giving the information away for free, keeps trying to teach me how to better myself. Maybe that might be somebody I want to at least consider listening to. Maybe I do want to put in the effort. Maybe I do want to learn. Because if you see this book and it takes you 25 minutes to figure out, just by looking at this book, what the number of the issue is, what the significance of this book is, I will have purchased it before you had a chance to realize it was even worth taking an offer on. You got to know these things quick. Like I said, that was a newly listed book. If I would have hesitated, somebody else might have came along and maybe offered a much higher offer or paid the buy it now price. And if I would have missed out, okay, there's always another one. There is not a book, even you guys that watch me know I'm looking to one day finally acquire an Amazing Fantasy 15. I do not have the physical cash to get it, but I have plenty of books that I can easily trade if somebody ever wanted to trade for me to acquire an Amazing Fantasy 15. But if I had to trade, let's say the Amazing Fantasy 15 that somebody wants to trade is worth about 10,000. I'm not going to trade $15,000 worth of books to get a $10,000 book, even though it's a book I would die to have. I don't need it. If I can't get it for at least a fair trade or a trade that could benefit me in the long term, I'm not doing it. Stop with the fear of missing out. And Kim says hard times. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Can any of you name in the U.S. history where more, and I'm not talking about the Bitcoin era. I'm talking, let's go from the year 2000 back to the beginning in 1776, where we officially became a country. Between 1776 and the year 2000, what era did the most millionaires come out of in the United States? Do any of you know? Without having to look it up. And again, These are things you have to know, like this. Does anybody know what time period between 1776 and the year 2000, what area of time brought the most millionaires ever in U.S. history? If you want to think about it, I'll let you do it. If you want to leave it in a comment because you're watching it later, fine. Do you know when there were more millionaires that came out of the U.S. than any other history? Trade paper dad got it. Great Depression. Do you think we're living in a Great Depression right now? We're living in a recession, maybe even a depression because people just are afraid to speak the word. But that was the worst time in U.S. history and was also the best time in U.S. history. It's like the book. Let's see how many people know this. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Let's use the first person in the comment section or in the live chat that can tell me what book that was. That started out, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So even though the Great Depression was horrible for 90% of the world, there were people who were smart to see the writing on the wall, who waited for all those stocks to drop and see people desperate to sell anything to buy it at pennies on the dollar. Close, it's not Oliver Twist. Trade paper dad got it again. Tale of Two Cities. Very nice job. You can make deals, you can make money at any time, whether the economy's doing good or when the economy's doing bad. Because here's the thing most will not tell you about a bad economy. When the economy's bad, you have less people that have the money to buy the thing you're looking for. So you can actually get better deals when the economy is bad. Because when the economy is good, what does that mean? It means everybody has money, right? So if everybody has money and they all decide tomorrow, I want to buy an Amazing Fantasy 15, what do you think happens to the price? Do you think you get it for cheaper when you have more people making offers? Or do you think it's going to be more expensive? All you have to do is look at Rovid, 2020 to 2022 era. How much more expensive were comics at that time? Why? Because they were giving stimulus checks. That made the economy better. That made more people want to invest. So more people came in and they said, I want this thing and I'm willing to pay more for it. So if you want to listen to either willfully ignorant people, malintent people, or just naive people, or just plain out dumb people, if you cannot make money and you cannot see the glass is half full from a glass is half empty situation, that when an economy is bad, if you have a little bit of money to spend, you will have less competition, which means somebody will not have 50 people making an offer on something. They may only have you. So they may not have a choice but to sell at 50% off, 75% off. I mean, look what's happening, whether you like Trump or not, I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. These tariffs against China are showing China that it is not the seller who is in control. It is the purchaser. It doesn't matter what somebody sells if somebody is not willing to pay that price. If you don't know simple economics, even the basics, don't throw away your money. Use it to buy yourself cigarettes if you smoke. Use it to buy food for your family, pay your bills, but don't invest. Because I have yet to see one comic book channel, whether I love them or whether I can't stand them. I have not seen one comic book channel that tells you that even in a bad economy, well, you have less competition, which means you have a better chance at making a deal. And when the economy is doing wonderful, you have thousands more people with money that is disposable income, and they're going to throw it in investments. So if you're a buyer and you had somebody listing this for $1,000 in a bad economy, you might be the only person that could make a deal and say, you know what, I'll pay you 500 for it. But just imagine in a good economy where you have 5,000 people with so much money they can just throw it away. You think somebody's not going to nab it for 1,000, or maybe even try and make a higher offer to get it really quick? Hello, McFly. Stop listening to people at very best, are willfully ignorant of the how economics works because they want to make a viral video and they'll use clickbait to get you. And they'll say all these wonderful fancy words that in the end screw you and your family. Or you can keep ignoring people like me because the internet and the YouTube community has said I am the comic book equivalent of Satan. I would love to see from what? From my generosity of helping people, of me always answering questions, responding to your comments, giving advice for free, trying to do auctions where I make sure I can give people payment plans and offer at better prices. I don't charge tax. I do everything I can for people. I mean, come on. So that's my rant. This is the book. I'm going to be cracking this open. I'm going to be getting it pressed and dry cleaned. I'm going to be sending it this month with the 4 books from PGX. So, again, Flash number 139, First Professor Zoom, aka Reverse Flash, 7.0, off-white pages, came from Australia. Grand total with shipping and handling and taxes of $547. If I would have paid the buy it now price, it would have came out to about $1,053, which would be roughly probably a little bit over current value. I'm not willing to do that. So thanks for watching. I'll leave it up to you. And again, if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. If you want to support me and the information that I freely give you, because I want not only myself to succeed, but I want you to succeed as well. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I could easily not share any of this information, not share any of these prices, and I can give you partial information instead of sharing all of the information, because if you only have part of an equation, you can't solve it. If you have 99% of the puzzle, you don't have a complete picture. So whether people are withholding information from you or they just don't consider it and factor it in, these are people you should not be listening to. But if you want to, as they say, a fool and their money are soon parted. So let's do today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. We're going to go with Kim, because you were the first one. We're going to go with Sequential Geek, Trade Paper Dad, and last but not least, let's scroll up, James Logan. You guys are all today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. You guys have been here long enough to know what to do. Leave your comments and let me know what you think. And like I said, if you're going to hitch your horse to a wagon, make sure you hitch it to a wagon that knows where they're going. Or be like everybody else that complains about how life is unfair, how the economy's bad, how you can't win, how you have to hold on to your investments for over a decade, and not explain to you that in that time period you will lose about 65% of your purchasing power. So even if you sell it for the same price you sold it for, you lost money. Even if you sell it for a little bit more for what you think is a profit, you lost money. And you had a decade's worth of time where that money was sitting there doing nothing. How is that helpful? Because you like a channel because they sound good or they keep telling you what you want to hear? Well, if you want to keep being lied to and you wonder why you can't pay your mortgage and you're working a job you hate because you're not willing to put in what? It took me 6, 7 years of learning how the industry works, knowing how eBay works, knowing the key comics, knowing values. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Go back about 7 years ago on this very channel and look up my video I did approximately 7 years ago when I was still living in New York, my top 30 comics at that time. Watch that video. And then watch the video I did last year, roughly around November, December, of the top 30 comics now. And I will be doing a top 50 comics soon because I have about 6 or 7 mega keys and grails that I've added since that video I did back in December of 2024. So my hard work has finally started to pay off. But it's like a marathon. If a marathon is 20 miles and you never leave the starting gate, it will take you forever and you may never cross the finish line. So yes, a 20-mile hike in a marathon is a long distance. If you're not prepared for it, you're not going to succeed. But I would rather try and fail than to be at the starting gate or being at home saying, I'm not going to win, so why bother? Well, you've created your own reality, and that's just stupid to create a reality you don't want. Unless you just like to complain because everybody pats you on the back and says, oh, you poor thing. Be a victim, be a follower, or be a successful leader. That's up to you. If you think you could just sit there and cross your fingers and pray to whatever God, demon, or entity and think you're just going to get everything you desire by doing nothing but sitting on your behind and complaining about how unfair life is, don't be shocked that you spend your whole life doing that. You wait for Superman, you'll never meet him. Why? Because you are Superman. With that being said, if you want to like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you hate me and everything I stand for and everything I say makes you nails on a chalkboard and you want to thumb it down, have at it. I don't care. If you want to leave a comment, great. Because I know, like I said, there'll be 3, 4, maybe 5 comments at best. I appreciate those that take the time and I will respond to them. If you don't want to do it, no problem. And thanks for watching. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. We had a lot of people that commented in the live chat today. So I appreciate that. I want communication. I want dialogue. I want people to know that you don't have to like me, but listen to my advice. See if it makes sense or not. And then go from there. Have a great day, everybody. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.